Ready to get high without the munchies? If you're looking to take your digital DJI HD FPV hobby to the next level, the MotionSick head tracker unit is a great way to go. This isn't just any unboxing and maiden flight review. We'll be taking you along for the ride as we test out the head tracker on our Flightline Bronco in action, from a sketchy takeoff without any flight controls all the way to a near mid-air collision. Our friend Cody helped us assemble and set up the MotionSick head tracking unit because Ben and I stumble through even the most basic instruction manuals. The way that this head tracker works is that it senses the orientation of your goggles in relation to your dome piece and sends that information to your transmitter, which then sends it to the servos on the aircraft to move the camera around. It uses an accelerometer to sense tilt, up and down, and a magnetometer, aka compass, to sense pan, left and right. The head tracker works by pretending to be another transmitter that the master transmitter you are using to fly the airplane thinks is a buddy box. You need to set your master transmitter to allow it to control the channels that the head tracking servos are plugged into. So, ideally, you'd want to be able to control what channels the head tracker is controlling, as well as how far they move the servos as you move your head. This is called gain. For example, if you were flying a simple 4-channel Cub and only had a 6-channel receiver available, you'd want to use channels 5 and 6 to control pan and tilt of the head tracker. For us, we had retractable landing gear and flaps with an 8-channel receiver, so we used channels 7 and 8 to control pan and tilt. Luckily, the MotionSick head tracker allows for all of this easily and clearly through a clean and slick PC interface. It connects as a virtual COM port, just like a lot of electronics, to make changes to channel mapping, direction, gain, smoothing, and anything else you might need. While MotionSick does a great job of giving you complete control of setup, it's not exactly plug and play for most people. If, for example, the camera will tilt but not pan, it could be for a multitude of reasons, such as channels aren't mapped correctly, the servos aren't plugged in correctly, etc. We really do believe MotionSick has created the best and slickest package possible given the other components in the system, but being successful will require some baseline level of understanding of the systems. A few things to watch out for. You can't plug the head tracker into both a LiPo and USB. This would be an easy and disastrous mistake to make, so we'd really love to see it addressed on a future revision. Also, it's possible for other applications to steal control of the COM port and make it impossible to connect, so during setup, make sure Betaflight, iNav, Mission Planner, or anything else like that is closed. Next, note that the video transmitter plastic mount MotionSick supplies with the unit is set up to have the antennas latched facing down. This works only on some airframe types, and since our setup has lithium batteries directly below the transmitter, we simply hot glued our antennas facing up to the video transmitter itself. Finally, the manual is detailed textually, but was lacking some images for the weaker minded like Ben and I. There is a wiring diagram on their site, but that's all we could find. No biggie, that's what having friends like Cody is for. The MotionSick head tracker does include Bluetooth, which will reduce the number of clumsy wires should you have a transmitter that can do it. Later that week, we got together with Cody again to finalize the setup by mounting the unit onto a spare canopy we ordered for the Flightline Bronco. We removed all the pilots and seats from the stock canopy. Then, we placed a battery strap at the rear of the canopy for the video transmitter battery, which is a 1300 mAh 3S Lightperior pack. This was secured with our favorite UMA grip. Cody did an awesome job with the camera mount. We opted to have the camera oriented forward enough to have the nose just visible on the bottom center of the camera angle. Others, including Robert and MotionSick himself, will set theirs up with a scale and more immersive angle, but for our first time, we opted to keep it simple. We placed the video transmitter behind the camera mount and secured it with servo tape. Finally, we routed the pan and tilt servos through a hole in the canopy that plug into extensions from channel 7 and 8 on our receiver. At the field, the wires can stay plugged in if the canopy is left on top of the fuse to avoid constant plugging and unplugging between flights. Now, it's time to fly. Beep is like the buddy box system failing and I have to reset it.
Should be fine.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. There it goes again. See? Ready? Throughout Ben and I's combined lower IQs, we managed to mess up Cody's initial setup of the head tracker unit. Dude. Like we had talked about, I might have to actually turn off those other channels. After I landed, we had our diagnostic crew take a look at what was going on. It turned out that the issue I was having with not being able to look around came down to the master override in the trainer settings in the radio. As we said before, this unit can be a little bit complicated for your average layman. Then, we encountered our next problem, which was my inability to listen to my own advice on the importance of doing control checks before takeoff, especially after making changes in the transmitter settings.
Well,
I don't have it. I don't have...
You don't have what? Oh my god, what's the matter?
oh shit. Whew!
That was sketch balls.
It was.
Shit.
I'm very lucky that nothing happened.
What did you do? Did you turn off? Did you turn head tracking on?
Dude. It turned out that we had once again messed up with the master override, as well as inadvertently turned on some channels we shouldn't have when the buddy box was selected on, but eventually we got it working, thankfully without disaster. Then came the moment I've been looking forward to since this thing arrived on my doorstep, actually flying it without issue. Alright, it's working!
We have workage.
Whoa, this is like pretty sick, dude.
Are you motion sick?
Ah, you're so punny. What's really cool is turning around and seeing the motor pod. Wow, dude. I'm gonna do just a low pass. There you go. Time to get dizzy. Thankfully, the plane's not in a million pieces.
Right, I didn't have to go get the pieces and glue them back together to fly.
Yeah. Ooh.
Nice.
All right, I'll take it, I guess. We then had our master technician, Cody, give it a shot.
This is way better than I thought it would be.
You heard it here,
needs
folks.
A little bit of work. I think the plane, like, if plane could use a flight controller. This is friggin' cool.
Isn't it, man? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Did it really look shitty, or?
Well, it was firm, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Then, Ben took up his turbo timber and I chased him with the Bronco. And of course, a close call. Up next, we packed it up for the day and went to a local high school to try some more real-world practical uses of the system, like neighborhood surveillance and flying through goalposts. After some exciting field goals, we headed to our home RC field, the Southern New Hampshire Flying Eagles, to give the plane a try in a more confined flying space. It was super fun giving some folks rides when I tried out approaching over the trees and took in the view of the beautiful Merrimack River on the downwind. After the warm-up flights, our friend Matt came with his Bronco and took the lead for some follow-the-leader formation flying. This is where this unit really makes RC a much more unique and immersive experience, being able to do formation flying and even combat. Nice flying, Matt. Some of us have used head trackers in the past, and the experience was frankly miserable. Disorienting, bad video, and shaky movement made us think that anybody who took this aspect of the hobby seriously was utterly deranged. But with digital FPV and a slightly wider lens, combined with the smoothing that Motion Sick has managed to add to their system, flying the aircraft was an amazing experience. Despite the small delay, it's intuitive and easy to move your head around and get a full view. Looking sideways mid-flight and seeing the motor pods and wings on the Bronco, or watching the landing gear go up and down, is pretty sweet. Robert from Motion Sick even does mock dogfights with their aircraft out in SoCal. There's a lot of awesome opportunities with this setup. Be sure to check out his channel for more. Even though using a simple Spectrum receiver and DX18 made our setup fairly straightforward, it started to limit our fun after a while. The DJI FPV system will easily outstrip DSMX for range and object penetration, so if you're not careful, you could easily get to a distance or situation where you fail safe with no warning from flying behind an object. Additionally, it's pretty easy to get far enough out to lose direction and have a difficult time finding your way back home if you aren't proficient with flying and navigating from the pilot's seat. Using a long-range radio system like Crossfire or ELRS would really help, and a real flight controller with GPS for finding your way back especially. But this can all be added later and shouldn't stop anybody from giving this a try to see if they like it. We also used a separate battery to power the system, but it would be far better to use your flight battery because then you can monitor voltage in the goggles instead of relying on your timer. Finally, be careful with the travel on your tilt servo. If you angle your head too high, the tilt gear will overextend, and then when the teeth grab again as you lower your head, it'll lower the center point, potentially entirely reducing your forward visibility. To fix this, simply remove the power to the servo on the ground, raise it to the highest point, move the lower gear back to grab the servo gear, and rotate it back to center, ensuring that the arrows are pointing at each other. Easy enough. Special thanks to Motion Sick for sending us this awesome head tracking unit. If you'd like to purchase your own, feel free to use our link in the description or visit fpvdogfight.com. Additionally, a special thanks to Cody for all his help in the setup and the writing of this video. As a quick community update, congrats to John for winning our March photo contest on our Discord. If you want to participate, join our Discord for a fun supportive community and submit your best shots there. The winner gets a free limited edition sticker, gets featured in a video, and will also be in a community calendar at the end of the year. If you think we should use this setup to spy on your annoying neighbor, go ahead and give this video a like. Or, if you think China is already using systems like these to spy on us, maybe even hit subscribe. Happy landings and belts went on for us. We'll catch you next week with a new upload.